Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. In my last video, I basically shared a little bit about my experience as a Disney intern. So I figured it was only fitting to do a follow-up video talking about what my application was like, kind of give advice, tips, and basically just share how I found out about it, kind of what it all looked like. I definitely learned a lot through the application process, especially because it was a little bit of a challenging one for me. So I figured I would kind of just do a little backstory of like how I found out about the program, what my application process looked like, and then how I eventually got to be a Disney intern. So when I was around 15 or 16 and I was in high school, I started doing like dual enrollment courses at a local college. And I remember one time I was leaving and I noticed a poster on the side of the wall. And at this point I had grown up going to Disney, so like anything that was Disney caught my eye immediately. So I looked at this poster and it said the Disney College Program. And I took a picture of it on like my old iPhone 4 or whatever I had at the time. And I came home and I started like researching all about it, and I was immediately like, I need to do this program. I was ready to do the program like the next day, but I ended up finding out that you could not be a dual enrollment student. You couldn't be in high school, you had to be in college. So I basically waited about like 2.5 years, and once I was in college I applied for the Disney College Program. While I did research of like what it was, I never did any research of like application tips, anything like that. It was just like a super simple application to me, and I just like sent it in and I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna get in, like sure. So when I applied the first time, I found out about like the 4 stages of the interview. So basically it is application received, which means your application is received by Disney, like you sent it in and you're just kind of waiting on an interview. If you do make it out of application received, you get a web-based interview. The web-based interview is just kind of questions like, are you on time? Are you a good worker? They're pretty easy questions. And then if you make it past that, you get a phone interview. And the phone interview, I would say, is like the most important part. That's where you're actually talking to a recruiter. You're talking about what your top roles are. You're talking about your college experience, just kind of like trying to really sell yourself. And then if you make it past that, you get an offer. So there's like the 4 statuses that your application can move to. And in my first application, I never made it out of application received. So I never got the web-based interview, never got the phone interview, obviously never got the offer. I'm not gonna lie, like I honestly was not that bummed. I really didn't put like a lot of research or time into it. So I saw I didn't get in, and I was like, oh, okay, like I'll just try next time. So the next application season rolls around. Keep in mind, they're like 6 months apart, so kind of a lot of time. I end up doing a lot more research this time. I'm like reading articles, watching videos, end up applying again, and I still never got out of application received. So I still never got the interview. And I was like, okay, like again, I was like, okay, I still have a few more tries. So the 3rd application season rolls around. Within those 6 months, I actually went to Disney, and while in Disney, I started to meet a lot of people that were doing the college program. I would start to notice like all the name tags would have little colleges underneath, and I was asking everyone about their experience, and it hyped it up so much for me that that's literally like all I wanted to do. Like I came home and watched so many videos, it was ridiculous. I joined like Facebook groups to like meet friends because I was like totally set on doing it. I asked so many people for advice. I would message like 20 people on Facebook like, hey, do you think you could look over my application for me? So I literally put in like so much time. I really don't think I could have put in like more time if I tried. So I was like so short I was getting an interview. And the 3rd application season comes and goes. I still never made it out of application received. I will say I was absolutely crushed the 3rd time, because that was the time I definitely put so much like thought and energy into it, and I really don't see how I could have improved my application anymore. And at that point I was like sad as well, because I had made so many friends, which I probably shouldn't have made friends before like getting in, but I was like, yeah, I was super sad about that. So I was pretty set on like not ever applying again, even though it was the thing I wanted to do like most of all. So when the like 4th application period was rolling around, I'm like, you know what, I don't even want to apply. Like I don't want to get my hopes up. I have absolutely no idea how to improve my application, not like a single clue how to get in. So I was pretty set on just like calling it quits. So anyways, the 4th application season is like rolling around. Everyone's starting to talk about it in the Facebook groups and stuff. And I was super torn on whether or not I wanted to apply, just because again, I didn't really want to get crushed. But I ended up doing something that I usually would never do. Like, I don't consider myself a very like aggressive person. And while this isn't aggressive, it's just still out of like my comfort zone. I end up sending an email to like the most basic email. It was like disneyrecruiting.com. I didn't even know if it was like an email. Honestly, I don't know where I found it. But basically, I end up sending a lengthy email, like a very nice one, don't get me wrong. Nothing like, why didn't you let me in? But more so like, I've applied a few times and I would just love feedback, because you never really get feedback. You just like don't make it to the next interview. I'm actually gonna try and find the email that I sent just to kind of show you guys like the length of it. I actually pulled up the email that I sent. It's not letting me show it on the phone. It's like super bright. So basically, I just want to say that you do have to scroll down to read it. But yeah, I was basically just emailing them asking for any insight. Hearing no to an application is a little hard when you don't ever hear why. You just get an email saying like you're no longer considered. So that was a little frustrating to me. Like, I totally understood, but I honestly would just love feedback so that if I were to apply it again, it would be a little bit more successful. So anyways, I send the email. It's probably like a week later. I'm driving to college. I park. I'm about to go into my class, and I looked at my phone and I start to see a phone call coming in from like a 407 number, and I knew that was Florida. So I pick up the phone having no clue who it is, and I'm just like, hello? And someone's like, hi, is this Hannah? And I was like, yes. And she said, hi, I'm calling on behalf of your email you sent to Disney Recruiting. And I was so caught off guard because I never included a phone number. I just included my name. So I guess because I had applied so many times, they looked up my name in the system and found my old applications and got my phone number from it. So I was like so honored that they actually kind of read my email and then tried to like find me in their system. Yeah, so I was just super like caught off guard. So basically she ends up going over what they look for, basically goes over some things that could have possibly not moved me forward. Basically just also lets me know that it's such a competitive program, and that it's not even that my application's not good. It's just that they have so many people that they just have to like make choices sometimes, and it's not always for specific reasons. But anyways, it's probably like 10 or 15 minutes at this point. The phone call's kind of wrapping up. You know, I'm just thanking them so much for giving me feedback, but I still like don't know who I'm speaking to at this point. I just know it's like a Disney recruiter. And she ends the phone call by saying that this is recruiter Christy, which if you're in the DCP world, like she is the recruiter. Like she's the one that heads up like the DCP recruiting. So I literally was like shocked, and I was just like on the phone, and I was literally like, you're the DCP recruiter, Christy? And she was like, yep. And I was like, I just let her know how like I was such a big fan of her and stuff. At this point, I couldn't have asked for like anything more. I was just so happy to hear feedback, so happy to hear advice. And I was like getting ready to hang up, and she says, let me give you my personal email so that when the next application process comes around, you can email me letting me know you applied. And I was like, are you serious? Like, are you serious? I was honestly just like so shocked because I was like not asking for that much. I just really wanted to try and sell myself, and I just really wanted to know feedback. So that was like the kindest gesture someone has ever done for me for like the program, let alone it being like recruiter Christy. It was just like such a cool experience. So now I'm looking forward to applying a lot more, and I end up applying. I applied the very first day, which I can't remember the days I applied on my last program applications, but I do recommend always applying early. Not only to the Disney program internship, but like to any. I just think that being early is a really good thing. You can for sure get in if you apply like the day before they close. I literally know people that have. However, I do suggest being early. That would be one of my tips for sure. I end up applying first day. I email recruiter Christy just letting her know, hey, I applied. Like, I know you had mentioned to let you know. Like, thank you again so much for the phone call. And that's it. I like don't hear back from her for a few days. And I'm like, oh, she probably forgot about me. And I go to work that day, and I'm not even thinking about the program. And I get off work, and I have an email that says you've moved on to the interview process. And I literally cannot tell you how exciting that was for me, because I never ever moved past just the application received. And I always was like, if I could just talk to someone on the phone and interview, I really think I could do the program. Like, I really think that I could let them know how much it means to me. So like literally seeing that I had an interview was like the best day ever. I remember scheduling my interview and like waking up the next morning like, no, is this real? Like, do I actually have an interview? And I got accepted a week after my phone interview. So I like still can't believe that I did the program, just because it was like a dream come true. Like, I still think about it and I'm like, did that actually happen? But yeah, that is basically my application process. It's a super unique one if you're in the DCP world. Like, honestly, credits to anyone who gets in the first time. Like, you're amazing. Like, my roommate got in the first time. Like, so many people do. Mine was definitely a little bit more of a stressful application, but she's special. We love her. So I just wanted to end this video by kind of mentioning the tips I learned along the way. One, I know I'd already mentioned, like being early. Two, I don't think that doing all that research like hurt me. It's just that, you know, like I didn't get in. It was a very competitive program, but I do always suggest doing a bunch of research. I also like super recommend like selling yourself as much as possible. Obviously, you don't really need to email Disney recruiting if you apply and move on to the interview process really early. For me, it was just a little different because I never moved forward and I never really knew why. So that's why I emailed them. But I definitely suggest just really selling yourself. I tried to sell myself in that email, tried to be really positive in asking for feedback. I wasn't like rude at all. For my actual phone interview, like for the program, I was super prepared. I had all of my notes written out in front of me. I knew the exact role I wanted. I really wanted the role of merchandise, and I'm really fortunate to have gotten it. So I basically tailored a lot of my answers to merchandise. And then at the end, I actually did ask my recruiter if there's any way possible I would love to be placed in Fantasyland. I just kind of let her know why I thought I would be a great fit for Fantasyland. So I was so blessed that I got the role of merchandise and I got the location of Fantasyland. So this really kind of showed me that like people are listening to you, like when you're interviewing and stuff. Like, for a second, I honestly thought that they didn't really care about the role I wanted or didn't really care about the location I wanted. But the fact that I got both of them, you know, meant she was like listening so much. And I think because I was able to really sell myself, really let them know why I thought I would be a great fit there, you know, they really like believed me. So yeah, my advice is just to honestly don't give up, because I was definitely close to it. But if you really want to be a Disney intern, don't give up. I know people who have applied like 7-8 times finally got in. So it could be like a wild journey or it could be a super easy one. Although my application process was a little rough on me at times, I truly would not have traded it for the world. I think it made me appreciate my program so much more. I literally never took a day for granted because I knew how much time I put into it. I knew how much I wanted to do it. So literally every day was like the best day ever for me, and I really feel like that was because of what my application process looked like. All that to say, if you have any questions about the DCP or the application process when the applications open up again, feel free to message me. I love talking about the college program. I love sharing my advice. But yeah, that's pretty much all I can think of right now. So I just wanted to say thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in my next video.